Good morning, students. So today we are going to start the new play, that is the Mother's Day. So before I start the play, before I tell you like what this play is about, what's the theme of the play, I would like to tell you that this play is a satire. Satire is a way of write-up. Sometimes the things are written as a tragedy, sometimes the things are written in pure comedy, but some writers use satire as a way of their write-up. Satire is a very famous and very very important, crucial way of write-up through which the writers are able to convey a message to the audience or to the readers. So satire is number one, it is a humorous depiction of a theme. Okay, there should be full-fledged humor, but it is not a slapstick humor. It's not a cheap humor. It's, it's a humor with ironic concept inside. So through the humor, the writer takes up the theme in a very light way. The readers don't realize that they are discussing that the theme is going to be very serious one. It's serious in tone. Though the theme happens to be serious, yet the writer doesn't show it the way he writes it because it's all in humor. But eventually the writer is able to convey the message in a very light tone. And in the end, the message is conveyed and the corrective behavior is expected from the readers as well as the audience. So satire is a humorous depiction of some theme, okay, in order to bring some change in behavior in the society. Satire can be an essay, it can be a play, it can be a poem, it can be a novel, anything. Okay, you can write anything through a satire. Okay, sarcasm is very important part of this humor, satire. So number one, it's humor. Second, it is sarcasm. Then irony. Very important part of satire. Otherwise, it will not be a satire. Simply, humor is simply it's not the humor which makes a satire a satire. Okay. So unless and until you are intelligent enough to understand that humor, you won't be able to understand that humor also. If you don't have that literary tinge in you, literary touch, makes you understand this humor because it's not a cheap humor. Okay. So first thing, like Mother's Day is a play written in the style of a satire. Now let's talk about its theme. So if we say Mother's Day is about it's about mother's status in the family. What mother's status? Mothers, they do everything for their children or for their husband. But in return, what they get? In return, they get nothing, not even a thank you. Okay, no, because if a point is like so far the mother is doing the things for children or for husband, everything is okay. But the moment that same mother, doesn't do something for the family or for her husband or for children, the very same day the problem crops up. The family doesn't mind, disrespecting mother there and then. Because for them, mother is important because she is doing some work. And the moment the mother stops her services, takes back her services, that very minute, no one is there to respect her. Okay, because if our lunch is to be ready, if our dinner is to be ready, if our clothes are to be washed and ironed, if the kitchen needs to be all set, if the things, whatever the requirement is in house, we always take it for granted that yes, mother will do it, mother might have done this, or mother should do it. And the moment mother doesn't do it, the moment mother takes back her services, that very minute the family, realizes that the mother is of no use. So this is what the others feel. But the point is, what the play wants to convey is that number one, what mothers do, they do it for you as a favor. They favor you when they do something for you. Okay? If they cook your meals, if they wash your dishes, if they make your beds, if they clean your clothes, if they make it sure that your clothes are ironed, the things are done in in the home, even if she gets it done from others, she is doing you a favor. Remember it. She's not she's not obliging you. It's not her duty always to do the things, mind it. It is she is doing you a favor. And whenever somebody does us a favor, we are always thankful to the person. And moreover, we don't expect the favors from others always, isn't it? If we ask somebody to do something for us, we ask once, twice, but third time we feel bad, like why should I take his or her favor again and again? Okay, but with mothers, we feel that yes, what mother is doing, it is her duty, but that is wrong. That is where we, start going wrong. The very first thing we all need to realize is that what mothers do, they do it for us because they love us. Got it? If mothers are doing everything for us because they love us, otherwise there is no obligation for them to do the things for you for the whole of the day. Mind it. Okay, so because they loves you, mothers love children and family. That's why they do the things for the family. Mind it. This is the first and foremost lesson we need to understand. So when somebody loves us, how do we treat that person? We need to be more respectful to that person than what we can be to anyone else, isn't it? When somebody loves us, we are very obliged. I do this for her because she loves me a lot. But why this rule doesn't apply in case of mother also? So first thing is that mothers do everything for us because they love us. Second thing is we must not take it for granted. We must be very, very thankful, and at the same time, we must also feel it our responsibility to do the things for the mothers also. If mother is cooking meals for us, don't take it for granted that it is her responsibility only. It's not her responsibility, but she is doing you a favor. Okay, so the point is, wherever possible, you do the things on your own. If possible, you cook your own meals. If possible, you wash your own dishes. Point is not that if you've got a domestic help or not. Point is not like you should not do anything. The point is what mother is doing, what mother is taking her as responsibility, the same responsibility anyone in the family can also take. It can be the father, it can be the children, it can be anyone else in the family. Why responsibility should be upon just one person in the family? That's the issue. Okay, it's not about doing work, it's about sharing responsibility, because that person should not be taken for granted. In this play, what happens that the mother is taken for it granted. The children become totally nonsense, or you can say they create all nuisance with mother. They don't even know how to talk to mother. They don't even know like they should seek mother's permission in doing something. They don't even ever feel like explaining what they are doing to their mother. They don't know that they are answerable to mother. No. But yes, they think like mother is answerable to us. If they are going somewhere at night, they don't think it is their responsibility to tell mother about it. But yes, if mother is going out for one day, leaving the cooking and all, then they are there to ask her like, where are you going? Who is going with you? Why are you going there? When will you come back? So they want mother to explain the things, because mother is supposed to be at home for 24 hours at their beck and net. Means mother is supposed to be at home for at their command. Because if mother will not be there, whom will they give orders? Who will give them food? Who will do ironing of the clothes for them? Who will wash dishes? Who will set the house? So mother is supposed to be someone who needs all respect, because she does everything for us because she loves us. In this play, we'll come across the mother as Mrs. Pearson. Mrs. Pearson is the one who plays her role of mother in this particular play. She is, the victim of suppression in the family. Whatever I've told you, like this all happens with her. Her children are totally nuisance towards her. Her husband doesn't respect her a lot at all. He also all the children and even husband, they come in the evening to go back. Point is, they come in the evening on only to change or to have cup of tea, only to have lunch or something, but they come only to go back. And meanwhile, when they come, they expect that their mother might have prepared the food, the mother might have prepared their tea or coffee, mother might have washed their clothes, mother might have, ironed their clothes. So everything they feel like the mother might have done. So they only come and go back. Go back point is very important because they leave mother alone at night. Or for all evenings, for all nights, the mother is alone. Even husband goes to the club and children also go to their own places. Children, there are two children in this house, in this play. One is Doris, the other is Cyril. Okay, Doris and Cyril. Doris is the daughter and Cyril is a son. So both of them, they come and go back. They never bother like, mom, what will you do all alone? You also come with us. So, or let's spend the evening together. They don't have this kind of feeling. So this is the status of mother in the family. She cannot even speak up anything because children are, if she will say something to the children, then there will be ruckus, there will be, dispute, there will be noise in the house. There will be, argumentation in the house. And Mrs. Pearson doesn't want that there should be any argument. She doesn't want to spoil the peace of the house. Got it? What mother's nature is, though she knows that whatever her family is doing with her, that is wrong, but she doesn't raise any voice against it. Why? Because she thinks that it will cause unpleasantness in the house. So she is always quiet and keeps on doing what the family is expecting her to do. But she knows this is wrong. And then this Mrs. Pearson has a neighbor, Mrs. George. There is one Mrs. Fitzgerald, sorry. So Mrs. Pearson is the mother, and then you will also meet a very, very strong character, Mrs. Fitzgerald. In short, we may call her as Mrs. Fitz. So Mrs. Fitzgerald is the neighbor of Mrs. Pearson. Mrs. Fitzgerald is a very strong woman. Why strong, I'm saying? Not because she's very fat and all. She's strong because she knows how to take stand. She knows how to raise voice against, you can say, exploitation. She knows this. So because she is a neighbor, she knows everything about this family. And that is, children, this play has not been written in Indian backdrop. This play has been written in Western countries backdrop. And what happens here, the same things we can say like happen in foreign culture also. It's not that it happens only in India that mothers are not respected. In this play, it's not an Indian mother, right? So and then typical attitude of the neighbors. It is, people say that what your family doesn't know, your neighbors know it. Usually it happens. Got it? Because when family members, they are all in just one house. They are in one home. So whatever their family members do outside, the family doesn't come to know. The neighbors, they come to know like what somebody of the family is doing outside. So this this is Fitzgerald. She knows like what kind of culture this family has. She knows that her mother is not respected. So in this play, when the play would open, we will see that Mrs. Fitzgerald has come to the house of Mrs. Pearson and they are both having a cup of tea. At this cup of tea, Mrs. Fitzgerald counsels Mrs. Pearson, okay, Mrs. Fitzgerald, that is the neighbor, she counsels this mother to raise voice against the exploitation. Mrs. Fitzgerald tells her that it is now or never. Because Mrs. Pearson feels that she thinks that if she will be saying, if she will raise voice against the bad system of a family, then there will be, unpleasantness in the house. And she always thinks that someday she will do it. Does someday ever come, children? Someday never comes. Some other day never comes. What you want to do it today and do it now. Okay, this rule applies to all the things. Procrastination is a sin in each case. So Mrs. Fitzgerald tells Mrs. Pearson to take a step to raise her voice against the what we say, exploitation. But Mrs. Pearson is too weak to take action. Her problem is how to start, when to start. And Mrs. Fitzgerald says, it's not, there is nothing to think about when to and how to. Just now you sit, don't do anything for your family and just see what happens. And when your children will shout at you, you also shout back. And when your husband, says something, tell him that it's not only your job, you're not a servant. But Mrs. Pearson is too weak to start it on her own. Then Mrs. Fitzgerald says, okay, then let me do it. But Mrs. Pearson says that outsiders should not interfere in house matters, then my family will not like it. If you will do something in my family, then Mrs. Fitzgerald tells her that I will come in your family. I will try to change your family's attitude towards you, not as Mrs. Fitzgerald, but as Mrs. Pearson. Got it? What I'm saying? Mrs. Fitzgerald agreed to change the family culture, or Mrs. Fitzgerald wanted to change the children or husband's attitude towards Mrs. Pearson as Mrs. Pearson. So now the point is like, how can Mrs. Fitzgerald be Mrs. Pearson? She said like she has learned some magic from East, that is in India. She learned some magic from India and she can, change the personality. So with some mumbos and jumbos, Mrs. Fitzgerald becomes Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Pearson becomes Mrs. Fitzgerald. That is the most important action of this play. Okay. So you can say some supernatural has been employed in this play. Mrs. Fitzgerald becomes Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Pearson becomes Mrs. Fitzgerald. Personality wise also. Okay, looks wise also. They change their appearance. So what Mrs. Fitzgerald was, she had become Miss Pearson. So Mrs. Fitzgerald as Pearson decides to stay back in this house, and she tells that Mrs. Pearson, who has now become Mrs. Fitzgerald, that she should go to her house. Mrs. Pearson doesn't want to go there, but Mrs. Fitzgerald says that you will enjoy your day as Fitzgerald. You will love your day as Fitzgerald because Mrs. Fitzgerald life is all full of comfort and relaxation. There is no tension. No one can shout at Mrs. Fitzgerald. So Mrs. Pearson doesn't want to leave her house, but she leaves for good. Okay. Then Mrs. Fitzgerald now is at the Pearson's house. Now what happens? Now when she is there, first the daughter comes, Doris. Doris expects that the moment she comes up, she wants her yellow silk ready. She wants that her dress might have been ironed by mother. And she tells Mrs. Fitzgerald, as Mrs. Pearson tells her, that she has not ironed. Now the point is, why didn't she iron? So this conversation between Mrs. Fitzgerald and Doris, very interesting, very humorous. But we will come to know that how nonsense this Doris is. She has no values. She doesn't even know how to talk to mother. But yes, Mrs. Fitzgerald is able to teach her a lesson. She's able to make her cry also. Doris, kind of nonsense girl, the one who only knew how to shout at mother, She was made to cry by Mrs. Fitzgerald at her mistake. Then the boy, Cyril, would come, and the same thing, he will also repeat what her sister had done. But Mrs. Fitzgerald teaches him also a lesson. Okay, when this was going on, then the boy and that brother and sister, they will join hands in making Mrs. Fitzgerald, that is their mother, quiet. But they will not be able to do this because Mrs. Fitzgerald is such a strong character that she will quieten the children. Then will come the husband, Mr. Pearson. So when he comes, as you all know, like as it happens in a typical family, where mothers are not usually listened to, there the children also scare their mothers in the name of father. So the same thing happened. The children told their mother that you will see when Papa comes. And when father also comes, then at the time the girl was crying. And as it usually happens in a typical family, when a father sees his or her children, his children crying, he thinks that mother might have done something nonsense with the children. But Mrs. Fitzgerald is too strong to be shouted at by even Mr. Pearson. So even Mr. Pearson is taught a lesson by Mrs. Fitzgerald. He makes him quiet. He makes him understand his mistake. Okay, each of these family members, maybe Doris, maybe Cyril, maybe husband, they are all doing some mistakes that we will discuss in the play. And Mrs. Fitzgerald, as neighbor, knew everything, mind it. Pearson, the real mother, also knew the things, but she never had the courage to talk to her family about the wrong things they had been doing. But Mrs. Fitzgerald not only pointed them about their mistakes, but also taught them a lesson in such a way that all of these people, understood what they must do. So there will be a lot of, unpleasantness in the house. There will be shoutings, there will be all. And finally, Mrs. Pearson, the real Mrs. Pearson, she will come. And then also there will be a big drama because these children, Doris and Cyril, they cannot expect an outsider interfere in their family. But it was actually their own mother. Right? So finally, Mrs. Pearson comes back and she wants to regain her position as Mrs. Pearson. Mrs. Fitzgerald leaves by telling her, by counseling her. Mrs. Fitzgerald tells Mrs. Pearson two things. Number one, to be firm with the children, to be strict. If you're saying something, then be firm. Don't change your words. If you tell your children to do it, then children must do it. Second, she tells her that don't go for explanations. Don't give explanations to children. Don't give explanation to children. Rather, make children explain the things to you. You don't explain. Number one, be firm. What's the meaning of firm? What you say, stick to that. Number two, don't give explanations. Very important. Because most of the times, where do the mothers, fail? Mothers, number one, fail in being firm. If today mothers will tell the children, I'll tell you tomorrow what to do, but the next day they become soft. If for one day the mother is strict with the family, that I won't do like this, I'm not your servant. The very next day she starts her services as a servant. Point is not that I'm children telling you, point is not that what mothers are doing, they are obliging you. Point is not that. That is also the point. But the thing is, point is not about not doing work. Point is about keeping the right culture in the family. So this play is all about. So finally, Mrs. Fitzgerald counsels Mrs. Pearson to be firm and not to give explanations and leaves. And then Mrs. Pearson follows the words and she makes a whole family stay back in house. And then on that night, neither Cyril went out nor Doris went out, and even husband stayed there. And at the opposite, both of the children went to kitchen and they started making dinner for both mother and father. And mother and father both enjoyed a game of cards. And this Mrs. Pearson was very fond of playing cards, but she never ever played because who will play with her? But today she told her family that she would like to play a game of cards with her husband, And meanwhile, the children can go to kitchen and they can make something to eat. And the children, though this girl never wanted to go to kitchen, but she agreed with her mother. Because when mothers become as strict, when mothers take action, then the whole family comes to the right track. Then only. So the key for a happy and disciplined family is in the hands of mothers always. Okay, wherever the mothers are strong, that family is always disciplined. There the children are always disciplined. Okay, mother being strong doesn't mean that mother should be quarrelsome, mother should be, ordering others. Point is not this. But mother being strict means that family should listen to her. That's it. Okay, wherever the, and mothers should also be right. Doesn't mean that the mothers should be the boss and they should make her, their families like suffer always because they cannot do the work. That is also not so. If children are busy in studying, then out of love and respect, what mothers do, they should do. But children should not take it for granted. Point is not that. Point is there should be mutual understanding in the whole family. There should be love and respect in the whole family for everybody. Not just that one person is doing everything for others and others are just sitting and relaxing always. So once in a while, everybody should do the things which mothers are doing. Right? So with this, the theme, the overall theme I've told you, it's a long play. Tomorrow we'll start reading of the play. So be there, and today you people can go through the play on your own. And yes, whenever your test will be there at 4 to 4:45, as far as your English test is concerned, you can send me the English test till evening, till 8 o'clock. But as far as the other subjects are concerned, that you can ask those teachers, right? Okay, tomorrow we'll start the reading of the play. Thank you.